Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all watching the Grind Ethiks mixtape show, and I'm your host, Viktory BX Supreme Promoter. Basically, you know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? Basically. Yo, what up? Thank y'all for watching a new episode of the Grind Ethiks mixtape show. Basically. Yo, anybody that's on Instagram, you can follow me if you want. I got two Instagram accounts, Instagram Grind Ethics, and I'm also on Instagram Grind Ethics Media. And anyone that definitely liked this episode, I'll be very grateful if anyone can make a friendly donation. Still building up the studio. Also, I'm about to build up this big marketing campaign next month in August. It's gonna be the shit. You know what I'm saying? These social media I'm talking about social media ads, a sharing team, a tagging team, a street team, and all that good stuff. You know, I'm taking it. I'm gonna take it back to the '90s with this promotion shit. Because for those who don't know, I love promoting. That's why I call myself the BX Supreme Promoter. But yeah, um, the donation links is Grind Ethics Cash App, Grind Ethics Cash App, and Grind Ethics PayPal. Grind Ethics Media at PayPal. Grind Ethics Media at PayPal. That Venmo shit, listen, nobody, I don't know anyone that uses Venmo. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anyone that uses Venmo, so I deleted that app from my phone. It's good for nothing for me. Most people don't use it. I don't need it then. You know what I'm saying? But Cash App, Grind Ethics, Grind Ethics Media at PayPal. Those are the donation links. Anyway, this episode is about y'all self-employed people. I told y'all on a previous episode that I was gonna pick on y'all self-employed people. Well, I'm gonna pick on y'all in this episode. The topic of this episode is if you're self-employed, you're not that different than a 9 to 5er. Oh no, being self-employed is not that different from being a 9 to 5er. That's the topic of the show. And I know some of y'all, especially y'all self-employed people that might be watching, y'all like, how in any shape, form, and fashion we're familiar to a 9 to 5er. Listen, I'm a self-employed person. I've been self-employed for many years, right? And one thing I noticed, and I had to learn this the hard way, right? Because a lot of y'all self-employed people be bragging about being self-employed. Y'all be like, oh I work for myself. I'm my own boss. I don't work for nobody. I could go home anytime I want. You know what I mean? And I used to brag about this too until I realized that I'm not that different from a 9 to 5er. Why? Because I'm still trading time for money. That's why. Self-employed people are not that different than 9 to 5ers because both groups are trading time for money, or a self-employed person is still trading time for money like a 9 to 5er. Okay, like for example, you could be a self-employed person. You probably making, let's say, $400, $500 a day babysitting a table. You got your table, your little table downtown, and anywhere you at, it could be downtown Chicago, downtown LA, downtown New York, whatever. You have your merchandise, and you're making $300-$400 a day. Good stuff, right? But guess what? If you're not there if you're not there babysitting that table with that merchandise, then guess what? You're not making no money for the day. Or if you're not there for the week with your table, you're not making money for the whole week. If you're not there for a whole month with your table and babysitting your merchandise along with your table, guess what? You're not making no money. Why? Because you're self-employed. You're self-employed. Okay? Your biggest asset is your physical labor. Without your physical labor, you're not making no money. Even though you're just standing there or sitting next to a table. Or even if you're posting up, babysitting a table with a bunch of merchandise, you're still trading time for money because your body got to be present. Even though you're not hardly doing nothing, but your body still got to be present in order for you to make money off these merchandise. So a self-employed person is still like a 9 to 5 to a certain degree. You can go home early, but some self-employed people cannot go home early because they really need the money. They really cannot leave early because they really need the money. You know? And self-employed people, a lot of them, and even my own experience, a lot of them, their money goes up and down, because some of them are frivolous with their money, and some of them are not frivolous with their money, but they still run out of money. So, and they pay rent and other bills like everybody else. Like you got self-employed people in New York City that's feeling the burn, that's feeling the financial burn, the financial headache, like a 9 to 5 or a part-timer. So it's almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing. Like I remember, right? This is when I started to get real disgusted in trading time for money because I'm self-employed myself and I'm still trading time for money. So I'm nobody special, right? The only thing special about me is I'm a special ed kid from the 90s. Okay? That's it. Yo, I need to make that a show because I keep on talking about that. Being a special ed kid from the 90s. I need to have a show, a separate content show or a video show. Special ed kid from the 90s. What do y'all think? Anyway, somebody might steal that idea and make $1 billion off the shit. Damn, I promised myself I wasn't gonna curse. Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, I was one time I was in the subway, right? I was pressed for time because usually I start like 8, 9 o'clock, no later than 10. 11 o'clock for me, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, to me that's late. That's late for me, right? So I'm because I have to be early to a degree because a lot of people fronting like they don't want nothing. They know they need my products, but they just fronting. A lot of people fronting, and there's a lot of people, of course, that don't really need what I'm selling, right? It goes both ways. So that's why I have a tendency to go out 8, 9 o'clock, no later than 10. 11 o'clock, like I said, 12 o'clock is too late for me, or it's late for me. It's not that late, but it's kind of late for me, right? So one time I'm downstairs with a bag of merchandise. Then I look at my other bag. I'm downstairs with 2 bags, and I'm down with and I'm looking at my other bag. I'm like, yo, this is not the bag I'm supposed to bring down. So I go back upstairs, bring down my regular bag, right? And I'm like, damn. And then I have to, ask somebody for a Metro swipe because I don't really pay for transportation like that, right? I don't hop the train, but I ask for a Metro swipe most of the time, right? So I'm wasting more time, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm downstairs. Oh yeah, and I missed the train. I forgot. When I went back upstairs to get the right bag, I missed the train, right? And remind you, I'm asking somebody for a Metro swipe. So I'm wasting more money. No, I'm wasting more time. I'm sorry, I'm wasting more time. So I'm like, you know what? Forget this. I'm taking a day off today. I'm trying to avoid a lot of frustration, So I go to the park, puff on some trees, and I think about what are different ways where I could make more money by spending less time or without spending no time at all. I'm really brainstorming. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. Trading too much time for money is whack. It's really whack. And to a certain degree, being self-employed is whack sometimes. It's whack. I mean, of course, I had a lot of good moments being self-employed. It's better than being employed. To me, being self-employed is better than being stuck in some 9 to 5 or a part-time job, and I'm stuck in somebody's time zone. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not coming out of here till later on tonight, and it's 10 a.m. in the morning. I don't like that life. I hate that lifestyle. It's too tedious. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's not that different than being self-employed. It's not that different, man. Being self-employed is not that different than being a 9 to 5er. I'm sorry to all my 9 to 5 peoples, but yo, listen, you ain't got too much to brag about. You're still trading time for money. Because look at it, right? You could have $10,000 worth of merchandise in your house or in your storage, right? And if you're not outside with that money in your hand, walking around with that merchandise or have that merchandise on a table somewhere, then guess what? You're not making no money. And you can have $10,000 worth of merchandise, and you're not making no money if you're not outside with it. You could be in a hospital, or you could be, let's say you have to be in the hospital. You're not making no money. Let's say you have to leave town. You're not making no money. Let's say you have to go to a funeral, which is important, a family funeral. You're not making no money for the day. See, that's the difference between, now I've seen it, being self-employed and being an entrepreneur. A self-employed person is not an entrepreneur. I'm sorry, my entrepreneur friends. I mean, my self-employed friends, but you're not an entrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur yet. Okay? Being self-employed is like a step before being an entrepreneur. It's like being self-employed is like being in high school, and being an entrepreneur is like college. Okay, you graduate. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to graduate, or on my way to graduate from being a self-employed person. I like being self-employed to a certain degree, but it's trade time for money. I used to put in 8 hours. Nowadays, I'm putting 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, I'm good. I'm out. $70. That's it. Okay, I'm good. I can still buy trees and still save the rest. I can still buy some trees and save the rest of my money. Put some money to the side, and if I need to, go back to the wholesale place and buy some more stuff. But nowadays I'm not putting that much hours. I mean, there's gonna be times when I'm putting 8 hours, when I feel like it. But most of the time, I'm good. Because I'm tired of trading time for money. It's whack half the time. It's okay to a certain degree, but when you get older, like me, I'm 43. And when I was in my 20s, 30s, my mindset was, as long as I'm willing to work for the money, I'm definitely going to keep on using my physical labor to make money, especially if there's a lot of money involved. But now I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm on my way on retirement. I mean, I'm about to retire from the self-employed stuff. I'm sorry. It could be whack sometimes. It could be whack. My body still hurts like a 9 to 5er. My body, it hurts. It hurts like a part-timer. It doesn't hurt like a 9 to 5er. Because when I used to live the working class life, I used to work mostly part-time jobs. I never really been too much of a 9 to 5er. I didn't really work too much 8-hour jobs like that. The last job that I had that was a full-time job, it was when I was working at the comedy club, which is one of the best jobs I ever had money-wise. When I was working for the comedy club downtown, that was the most money I ever made in a job in general. Between all my 9 to 5 jobs and all my part-time jobs, the comedy club was the best job I ever had money-wise. I didn't like it, just like the other jobs, but it paid me well. It paid me well. Why I quit? Because I didn't like the people that was walking by being rude, because I had to pass out flyers or tickets to people. You know that, and, you know what I mean, and too many, especially tourists. The tourists want to be like New Yorkers, so they develop a rude attitude like a New York. You know, I mean, like a New Yorker. So I had to quit that job for my own mental health. Okay, so but it was an okay job. It was okay. But yeah, going back to your self-employed cats, man. I'm sorry to say, you could argue with me all you want. You could curse me out in the comment section, but yo, you're not that different than a 9 to 5er. And then y'all talk about you don't work for nobody. Yes, you do. You work for the customers. You work for the people that you serve, whether it's your clientele, your regular clientele, or whether it's a random person. You still working for somebody. You working for hundreds of people. You're working for thousands of people. You're working for more people than a 9 to 5er. The difference is that you could go home anytime you want. You set your own schedule. You ain't got no boss bossing you around. You ain't got no supervisor, no manager bothering you. Those are the differences, right? But there's times when you really cannot go home because you have to pay that rent or you have to pay that light bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, so therefore, not only you working for the customers you serve, but you working for your bill collectors, especially your landlord. So you all working for people, but nobody is telling you what to do, or nobody's telling you how to make your money. Listen, your landlord don't even care. Your landlord and your other bill collectors don't care if you selling drugs. Don't care if you scamming people to get money. Okay, as long as you have their money, they don't care. They don't care. But like I said, you're not that different. And I know there's times some of y'all self-employed people that's watching. I know there's times when you couldn't just go home. You could go home and nobody won't bother you. Nobody won't say you fired, but you couldn't just go home because you had to pay that bill. You need $50 more or $100 more or $200 more to pay that bill. And you don't have no money in the bank, no bank account. You got no money in stash, no money under you got no money. So you just relying on your merchandise. And that's it. And also some of y'all people that's graphic artists. I don't know why I'm keep thinking about people that sell merchandise because I sell merchandise. But these are not the only self-employed people. People that do graphic art, people that do videography are self-employed. People that do editing. Yeah, I would say pre-production work and post-production work, as far as video production, whatever. These people are self-employed. Graphic artists, like I said, people that print out clothes, people that got their own printing machine business or whatever, whatever you want to call it. They're self-employed. You know, people people that's personal trainers are self-employed. People that teach people how to do yoga. People that got their own yoga studio are self-employed. You know, and these people are not, like I said, these people are not that different than a 9 to 5. I know people that do graphic art, that do graphic arts, and people that do videography. They're working harder than a 9 to 5er. They're working harder than a 9 to 5er. They have to do mad work, and instead of taking their work that they have to do, they don't think about putting some of the load of work on somebody else and share the money. They're like, no, I ain't sharing my money with nobody. I'm doing all my work. I ain't sharing with nobody. I'm getting all the money. All the money. That's how some of y'all self-employed people are. Y'all want to take, I'm not saying y'all greedy, but y'all trained to think that, oh, because somebody come to you with an opportunity, you think that you're supposed to take all the money. No, share some of that money. If you mad tired, share some of that work with somebody so all the work won't be on you, because you might want to spend time with your family, or you might have other work that you got to attend to, or you might, I don't know, you might want to chill out or whatever, or you just want to chill because you're doing too much work, doing too much stuff. So you might want to put some of that load on somebody else or a couple of people. Your clientele doesn't have to know that somebody else did their work. Matter of fact, they don't even care or won't care. But you focusing too much about the money. You focusing too much about the money. Sometimes the money ain't worth it. It ain't worth your sanity and your mental health and your physical health. You know? And some of y'all self-employed people, man, y'all be tripping. Y'all be tripping. Y'all really just like that. And that's why I say another reason why you're not that different from a 9-to-5er is because a lot of y'all self-employed people, y'all value money over time. Y'all value money over time. And me, I no longer value money over time. Time is worth more than money. I'd rather be in the park smoking trees for the rest of the day or for the rest of the night. I don't. No. You know, y'all putting too much money over time, and half the time the money's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. It's not worth breaking down your body. Listen, man. I'd rather puff trees. Or I'd rather take a girl out on a date or some shit, or later on go skeeting or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'd rather do, you know, or get some buns. You know, sometimes a brother wants some buns. You know, some people be looking at me like, damn, this dude works so hard. I wonder if he gets some ass. I wonder if he gets some ass. Sometimes I'd rather just like, you know what? Forget about this work for now. I'm getting some buns. I'm getting some bunions. You know what I mean? Or it's not even just about that. Just whatever you want to do. You want to have time to do whatever you want to do. Or time to, like, let's say, even start a new business. You know? Y'all self-employed people, man. I'm sorry to tell you, like I said, you're not entrepreneurs. You're not. You're not. Everything is lying. Everything, you rely on your physical labor. Everything lies. I mean, you're relying on your physical labor, or either relying on your presence for you to make money. You know? And I'm telling y'all ways where you don't have to do all that. You know, matter of fact, that's gonna be another episode, because I don't want this episode to be too long. This episode is just an awakening call. It's just consider this episode awakening episode. So y'all self-employed people. On another episode, I'm gonna give you you know what? Since I'm not an entrepreneur yet, I'm gonna have somebody that's actually an entrepreneur, or somebody that went from being a self-employed person to an entrepreneur. Have them on Grind Ethiks to talk to y'all. Because if I'm not an entrepreneur yet, I'm not gonna tell y'all different ways on how to not bust your ass if I'm still busting my ass. Because I'm gonna keep it real. I'm still busting my ass for money. Trading time for money. But anyway, I'm out. Anybody that like this episode, the Grind Ethiks Mixtape Show, I'll be very grateful if anyone can make a donation. If y'all want, the link is Grind Ethiks Cash App. That's Grind Ethiks Cash App. Oh yeah, also take a picture of my sponsor, Yamaha Naturals. They sell berry juice, sea moss, and the natural Viagra, which is called the Bedroom Bully. Okay? So yeah, man, I'ma holla at y'all. Oh yeah, the link is Grind Ethiks Cash App if you want to make a donation, and also Grind Ethiks at PayPal. I'm out. And remember, peoples, tell a friend to tell a friend. That's all about the motherfucking grind. Basically. Oh.